In this video, we are going to discuss HTML paragraphs. So HTML paragraphs are like containers for text. They are used to group together sentences and form solid blocks of content on a web page. The paragraph is set with the p tag, and since it's a regular tag, it requires both the opening part and the closing part of the tag. Everything that goes between the opening and closing parts is the tag content, and that's exactly what's going to be displayed in the web page. So let's create a couple of paragraphs in the code editor. As you remember, all the content we want to be displayed on the web page should be inside of the opening and closing body tag. So I'm going to create the first paragraph inside of the body. I will declare the paragraph tag, and then I will use the text of 30 words for the text of the paragraph. So once I save the page, we can see that the paragraph is being displayed on the web page. To create another paragraph, I will create a new paragraph tag, and then I will add the text of 20 words inside of this paragraph content. So once I save the file, we will see that the second paragraph is now being displayed too. The paragraph tag doesn't have any tag specific attributes or required attributes, but it supports all the global attributes, so we can add the ID of text1 to the first paragraph, and we can add the ID of text2 to the second paragraph. We can also utilize the global class attribute to add the same class to both paragraphs and combine their styles. So let's say it's going to be the class of text. The paragraph tag is a block level element, which means that it will always want to take 100% of width of its parent. So if there is any content going before the paragraph will push itself to the next line after this content. If there is any content after the paragraph, it will be pushed to the new line. Let's add a couple links. The first one will be before the first paragraph. It will say link. Then I'm going to duplicate this link 2 times and paste it between the paragraphs and after the second paragraph. Once I save the file, you will see that the first paragraph has pushed itself to the next line after the first link, then it has pushed the second link to the new line. Then the second paragraph has pushed itself on the new line after the second link, and it has pushed the last link to the new line too. To make sure the paragraph takes all the available width of its parent, we can inspect the paragraph by making a right click on the paragraph text and then clicking Inspect, which will open the Elements Inspector for us. The parent of the paragraph is the body tag. Hovering the body tag in the Elements Inspector will highlight the dimensions of the body block, and it will show a hint saying that the body has the width of 660 pixels. Now, if I hover the paragraph block, you will see that it has the same width of 660 pixels, and hovering the second paragraph will also show us that the width of the second paragraph is 660 pixels. In the current example, we are using just regular text to be a child of the paragraph tag, but not every HTML element can be a valid child of the paragraph. To figure out the list of valid children of the paragraph, I want to open the Google search page and type p_mdn to search for the documentation page at the Mozilla Developer Network, which is the first link in the search results. I'm gonna click this link, and the documentation page for the paragraph will show up. So on the documentation page, you will find the basic description of the paragraph tag, then you will find a couple of usage cases of the paragraph tag, and then you will find the technical summary table that actually says that the paragraph itself belongs to the flow content, while the permitted content of the paragraph is the phrasing content. So which HTML elements actually belong to the phrasing content type? To figure this out, I'm going to open the Google search page again, and I'm gonna type content space categories space MDN to search for a different page that describes different content categories. Once I click this link, we will see the page, and we need to scroll down to the phrasing content section that actually shows the list of all the elements that are considered to be the phrasing content. Also, the valid child of the paragraph is the plain text that we have used in our example, and some more elements in case the condition on the right is met. Let's now check what actually happens if the paragraph has invalid children. And to check that, I want to remove all the links I have created for the demonstration purposes. Then I want to make the paragraph number 2 to be the child of the first paragraph. And I want to add one more element, which is the heading 1 and represents the main page heading. And I want it to have the content of main heading. Once I save the file and switch back to our page, we can see that the content has updated. But as you can see, my code formatting tool is not happy with that move already. So let's inspect the first paragraph to make sure the second paragraph and the main heading are the children of the first paragraph. So I'm going to make a right click and click Inspect to pull up the Elements Inspector. And as you can see, the rendered version of the page is different from the code we have written. It says that we first have the paragraph number 1, then goes the paragraph number 2, and then goes the main heading. So what happens here is that both the second paragraph and the heading 1 are invalid children of the paragraph tag. We previously figured out that the permitted content of the paragraph is the phrasing content type, while both the paragraph and the heading 1 are of flow content type. The browser was trying to resolve this issue for us, and it has moved the second paragraph and the heading 1 outside of the first paragraph, but it has also created some redundant elements which don't even belong to our code. It's super important to make sure we write proper HTML rather than rely on the browser to resolve those issues for us. And to resolve this one, we just need to cut the second paragraph and the heading 1 and move those after the first paragraph. Once I save the file, you will see that my code formatting tool is happy now, and the re-rendered version of the page now follows the structure of the code we have written. The first paragraph is the text 1, then goes the text 2 paragraph, and then goes the main heading, and there are no redundant paragraphs beneath it anymore.